Hi everyone, it's me, I guess, from the future if you want, since I've got my little rocket ship here already built and ready to go. What I wanted to do, I just wanted to let you know there's going to be some times throughout this, I've ended up having to break this down into a series of videos. I had hoped that I was just going to have one full video that you could sort of navigate around through, without having to go to different videos, but unfortunately, I guess maybe because of the speed of my internet, whatever, I was just having terrible luck trying to get that uploaded to YouTube. So I've decided to break it down into a series of, there's 7 videos in all in the series, and hope to get it to load up properly. So you will hear me talk, especially in this video, that I wanted to do one big video, but unfortunately that didn't work out. Also, along the way, up front I sort of said I was only going to make 1 or 2 modifications. I ended up making a couple more. Again, it's not anything to do with the design. It's just techniques that I found with previous builds where I got to a point and thought, oh, I wish I had done that a little bit differently. I didn't remember those all up front because it's been quite a while since I built one of these. So just bear with that. Again, if you've got some other build experience with foam, you don't necessarily need to do it the way that I've done it. But those techniques have just worked well for me. I've managed to go through pretty much all of the videos again, as I'm, the segments of videos that I've shot. Obviously, there's going to be some things there that I've probably said wrong or interpreted wrong or whatever. If you find they're confusing at all, please don't hesitate to leave a comment on the video. I'm going to have my my email address available as well, scott.parkjet@gmail.com. Please don't hesitate to fire me an email if you if you have any questions or you want to just talk one-on-one about some questions that you've had about something that I've said or I've done throughout this series. Your email address will be kept in the strictest confidence, and I don't mind trying to help you out. Okay, so there we go. So this will obviously, this is the lead-in to the intro that I shot quite a while ago. I just wanted to kind of explain that. And I'm going to have all of these videos in order in a playlist, so you should just be able to open up the playlist. I'll have that linked in the blog that supports this intro video, so you can just open that up and then navigate your way around through the playlist. So anyway, I hope that you find this helpful. Again, this is aimed at folks that are brand spanking new into park jets, or maybe brand new into building with foam. Please, if you find I'm droning on at certain parts, don't hesitate to use the fast forward button. That's what it's there for, and get to what you need. So there we go. So on with the series. Hope you enjoy it. Again, please don't hesitate to ask any questions whatsoever, and I'll do my absolute best to help you out. Best of luck with your build. Take care. Hi everyone. Welcome to the introduction of my beginner park jet build video. So today, in this video, I just want to kind of introduce sort of the things that I'm going to be using to build my plane. Essentially what we're going to be building start to finish, step by step, is one of these bad boys, an RC Powers Mig-29 version 1. This is a mini MiG. It's Bentley's plane, my little dog. If you've watched any of my other videos, he's a Shih Tzu, so this is just about the right size. But anyway, we're going to build this step by step, and I'm just going to kind of do it as from a beginner standpoint. I've built about 4 of these already, so there's lots of little tricks that I've learned along the way that we're just going to modify it slightly, just to kind of make things easier for you. If this is your first park jet, maybe one of your first planes in general, if you're just new to the hobby. Obviously, this is an electric. It's going to be run by electric with the motor. It's going to be going in this hole. Your plane should end up about 4 times bigger than this one, and it should actually be flyable. So anyway, there's some, if you're interested in building this plane, there's a few things that you have to do. If you're not a member of the RC Powers forum, and I should say right now that I'm going to write up a blog that will be linked down below in the comments below this video, that'll have multiple links for stuff that you can read and prepare. Just kind of get yourself in the know and see if you're actually prepared or it's something that you might want to do. So first thing you'll need to do is, if you really want to do it, is after reading that blog post that I'm going to have down below, is you'll need to go, if you're not a member already, you'll need to go to the RC Powers forum, and you'll need to become a member there. It doesn't cost anything. You just need an email address. Find a nickname. Once you get logged in, get signed in, you should get a free set of plans for this plane, the MiG-29 version 1, and the RC Powers F-18 version 3. So when you get that, you're going to get two different types of plans. You're going to get these are called tiled plans. I've already got a set here put together. So essentially what you can do is you print those off on your home printer, on letter size paper or whatever works for you. And then what we're going to do is, and I'll show you how to do it, is we're going to tape all of those together. The other option is you can take the file or send the file to your local print shop and do what's called an untiled, which will just print it off in like one big page, and then you'll still need to cut the pieces of paper out to put down on the foam. Okay, but we're going to do it old school. We'll do the tiled version, and when I start the video, the step-by-step video, I'll show you how I put those together. When you see the plans, there's some other things here that if you are going to do those tiled plans, you can get, this is kind of the page layout. You don't necessarily need to print this off, but have a look at this, and it'll give you an idea of how the pages go when you print them off. Now you'll also see that many of the pieces here, it says ×2. So if you just print off one set of plans like this, you'll have to use the piece that you cut out as a template. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to print off, like I said, I've already printed off two sets of plans, and the way that I'm going to show you how I'm going to build it, I think is a little bit easier. It costs you 6 more sheets of paper, but I think it's going to be a little bit easier to build. So, when you're getting prepared, be prepared to print off 2 sets of the tiled plans if you want to follow along in my video, if that's the way that you decide to go. There's another file that's no longer included. It was included when I bought the plans years and years ago, and I have RC Powers permission to use this. It was called the Plans View, and this is an extremely helpful sheet of paper because it talks in basic about a lot of the things that you're going to need. These are the templates if you want to make your own motor mount out of wood or very stiff plastic, like say an old gift card or an old credit card or something. Plus you can also make your control horns by using this as the template. So I've been given permission to use that by RC Powers, and I have it saved as a picture in a Google Doc that I'll share the link in the blog that I mentioned below, and you can print this off, and it's very, very handy, and also gives you kind of a top view, side view, and front on view sort of how everything's kind of going to be laid out. Okay. So that's a very helpful document as well. I apologize, the colors here are pretty gaudy. My printer is really starting to run low on ink. You can have a look at this. This is when you open up the tiled plans, you'll see this page, and these are all color coded, and it just kind of gives you an idea when you look at these diagrams of the plane together. It shows you which color pieces go where, just to kind of give you an idea how it goes together. The nice thing about, I've written a blog post on why I think the MiG-29 version 1 is a great choice for your first park jet. So that's going to be included in the main blog post that's going to support this video. Okay, so like I said, we're going to go old school. I'm just going to use hot glue. So just a standard. This is just a low temp standard little mini glue gun that you can get at dollar store, Walmart. And also some 5-minute epoxy. So that's what we're going to use to put it together. Just to keep things simple for me, this is not all the foam. I'm going to need more foam than this, but this is model plain foam grade B. If you're in North America, you can get this stuff. You can also build it out of Depron. If you build out of sort of the really stiff Depron, you won't need as much reinforcement as I'm going to have to put into my plane. If you want to build it out of Dollar Tree foam, that's great too. In the blog, I'm going to have a list I've written on the blog. I've written a series of articles on my lessons learned building with Dollar Tree foam. So you can go and read that as well if that interests you. Also, if you're kind of brand new, really brand new in the hobby, I'm going to have links. I've got a video playlist on my YouTube channel of all the stuff that I use in my Park Jet workshop. I have sections on motors, speed controllers, batteries, servos, all those sorts of stuff, so you can watch those if that kind of helps take the mystery out of it for you if you're brand new. And also, I'm going to have a playlist on my YouTube channel. I think I've started it already. Beginner building instructions. I've already shot a couple of videos, and those are in there. And it's going to cover how to put reinforcement in the foam, and also how we're going to hinge the hinges for the elevons. We're only going to just build this with elevons only, the simplest way possible. Okay, so for reinforcement for the actual plane, you'll need, I'm going to use some carbon rod because MPF is a little bit shorter. I've got a 1 meter section of it here. That's what it calls for here on the plan view. You can use 3mm tube as well, or I know that people have gone to like a sporting goods store and got like carbon arrow shafts, like 4mm, 5mm carbon arrow shafts. So you can use those as well. You want something that's one piece and fairly stiff. You don't really want to try and mess around too much with using like bamboo skewers. Although you can do it, you just really need to lay a lot of epoxy in there to make it nice and stiff. But I'm going to use some carbon rod. I'm also going to use to reinforce my elevons and my vertical stabilizers, because MPF can be fairly flexible. I'm just going to use some bamboo skewers, barbecue skewers from the dollar store. Also for some reinforcement, a couple of popsicle sticks, or if you have a couple popsicle sticks, or even tongue depressors, again, just get these from the dollar store. We're going to use these for reinforcement in a couple of spots on the plane to keep it nice and strong and durable, and also to hold some things into our electronics bay a little easier. You'll want to have some zip ties, a couple of sort of medium length zip ties. We're actually going to zip tie our receiver and our speed controller into the plane so that they're nice and stable. So you'll need some medium length zip ties, and I just have a smaller one here. We're just going to tie up our wire bundles inside the electronics bay when we get the plane finished. So you'll need a few zip ties. Doesn't really matter what size they are, but you'll need some zip ties. You'll need some Velcro. This is the like the furry stuff. We're going to actually put this in the plane. I always put my the hook part on the battery. So I have again in my my workshop video series. I think if you go to the miscellaneous build stuff, I talk about Velcro. I also, if you're just learning about lithium polymer batteries, I also have a video where I just discuss just batteries alone. Okay, so some Velcro, that's going to hold our battery in. Just going to use a couple of servos. These are just 9-gram nylon gear servos. I think they'll work just fine. I know RC Powers says to use metal gear, but we're just going to use some nylon gear servos. Motor, I'm just going to use, this is just a Turnigy 2826 2200 kV motor from Hobby King. This is nice and easy because it comes with the connectors on it already. I'm going to use this speed controller that I have already, but I'm going to link in the blog post below the parts list on the RC Powers forum. When you look across the very top, you'll see a button that says parts. If you click on that, you go down to their parts list, and they have a good recommendation. I think there's a 35 amp speed controller, which is sufficient for this motor. That already has the XT60 connector and the bullet connectors already attached to it. So if you don't have any of those, or you don't want to buy any of those, you can do that. But I will also have links for some other alternate stuff that I've used that would work as an alternative if you if you can't get the parts that RC Powers has. So motor, speed controller, just going to use a standard 6x4 APC prop. This is just an electric APC prop. This is actually a knockoff from Hobby King, but again, that's on the RC Powers parts list. Battery, obviously, you'll need some sort of 3S battery. I'm going to use a 2200 battery, which is a little bit heavier, but there's lots of sizes that you can use, you know, depending on how light your plane you want your plane to be. So I'm just going to use, I've already got a motor mount made, and I already have a couple of the control horns similar to what are on the plan view here, and I'm just going to use the straight old metal Dubro 256, I think they are. Yeah, they're threaded on one end here, and they have this plastic clevis here on the back. I've already bent the Z bend or Z bend in the end of them there, so we're going to use those as well. And then I'm just going to use, this is just transparent duct tape. You know, you want a good strong tape for making the hinges for the elevons. So that's kind of essentially, you know, if you're thinking you want to do this, like I said, you know, there'll be gobs and gobs of links in the blog post that I'm going to have down below, you know, so that you can start thinking if you want to build it, and then get, you know, things ordered. I know sometimes depending on where you order it from, it can take quite a while for you to get. The actual video, what I'm going to do, I've done one step-by-step build video once in the past, and I find for me anyways it flows easier and it's easier to edit it if I do it sort of all in one long video. But you know, I'm going to break it down into sections rather than, you know, that way I can review what I've done already and then, you know, kind of just keep adding on to it. And also what I'm going to do, you know, this again for those guys who've been around a while, if you've flown electrics before, some of this stuff might be a little bit oversimplified for you. I'm aiming this at people that are very, very new, and you know, to try and keep it as simple as possible. So if you have other ways you like to do it, or things you want to do, if you've built an electric foamy before, please you know, have at it. I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence, but I'm going to keep this you know, again, fairly simple. And then what also I'm going to do is, once we've built our plane, is I'm going to go out to the field and I'm going to try and demonstrate you know, how I do my maiden, and then, you know, some of the things that you can do if you're really new to flying, some of the things that you can do to work on your skills and work on your orientation, things like that. Okay, so there's going to be this, after this intro video, there'll be the step-by-step build video that's going to take you from all of this stuff here to one of these bad boys, but about four times bigger and hopefully a lot more airworthy. And then after that, we'll have some videos where, you know, I try and, you know, based on my level of my skills and my experience, I'll kind of show you things that will work, that have worked for me to, you know, get your maiden flight over with, and then get working on honing your skills. All right, folks. So lots of stuff here. Like, there'll be lots of reading in the blog post down below, but hopefully, you know, it'll get you sort of started off, and then, you know, if you think this is something that you want to tackle, you know, this little thing is just really a ton of fun to fly. One of the reasons that it's, you know, I find it's good for a beginner park jet is because its profile, everything's a flat surface. So if you gonk it in and you break something, it's you know, it's very easy to fix because everything's a flat surface. It's very simple. You know, there's not a whole lot of parts, and you know, like I said, where I'm going to try and approach it to put it together as simply and as straightforward as possible, and you know, just using some tips and techniques that I've learned in my almost 6 years of flying park jets. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Kind of be old school for me, and looking forward to it. So again, please check out the comments down below. Thanks very much for watching. Blue skies, calm winds to everyone. Let's get building a park jet, baby. Take care.